Yeah, absolutely, but we're only doing master today. So the first thing I want you guys to do is your notches. So let's have a look at our front. Where do notches go at the front? I want you to tell me.
The hip.
The hip. So we're going to do a hip notch, level with our hip. Is that where we're going to do one?
Yeah.
Yep. What else? Where else are we going to put a notch? So I put a hip notch here on the side seam. Where else are we going to do a notch? Waist. Double draw in, add waist notch. Absolutely. You're not doing it? No? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. What else? What's next? What's another notch we're going to do? Remembering this is going to be one whole panel. And that's going to be one whole panel. These two are going to join together.
Probably one is maybe at the bottom of the dart and maybe...
Okay, so we're going to do dart. We're going to do notches on both sides at the bottom of the dart. Same with our waist, because this becomes a seam. It's not a dart anymore, it will be a seam, and you'll see that when we start to colour it in. So we've got notches either way there. Notch coming in for that panel. Notch coming in for this panel. We're going to do the same at the bust, people. Same at the bust. Notch coming in for that bust. Notch coming in for this bust on this side. Okay. The centre front neck coming down has a notch. Centre front neck coming down has a notch. Yep. Armhole, we've already got one in our armhole, so that should be already notched. Now we're going to move over to our back. What do we know about our back? Let's do the same thing on our side seam on the front as what we did on the back. On the back is what we did the front. We've got a waist notch and we've got a hip notch. Okay, waist and hip notch. What else do we need for the back? Dart notches. What are they going to be, double or singles for the back? They're going to be doubles, and how far apart are those double notches going to be? Sorry?
A centimetre?
Yes, at least a centimetre. Why no smaller than a centimetre? Tell me the reasoning. Because they will fray and you'll have a big hole. So, first notch, second notch, a centimetre apart. Waist is the same. With your waist one, it doesn't matter whether you go up or down for notches. It's up to you.
So did you put a notch at the tip of the dart where the bust dart meets? Yeah.
Yep, and then I came down a centimetre, but it doesn't matter whether you go up or down. You've just got to be consistent and do the same on whichever side you do, whatever you do. So for my waist notch, I've done my waist and then I've come down a centimetre, but you can do the waist and then go up. It's irrelevant which way you go as long as you do the same for both.
Because this is the back, it has the two.
Yeah, because it's the back, it has the two. And like I just said, doesn't matter whether you go up or down. So for that one, I've gone up a centimetre, but I could have easily gone down a centimetre. Doesn't matter. As long as you do the same, whatever you do to this side, do the same to that side, so they match. Really doesn't matter. So double notch, double notch, double notch. Okay, and of course, exactly the same, a notch going up at the centre back. A notch going up at the centre back at the neckline.
That lip notch, how far down was that one?
It was up 2 centimetres from my hip.
Tina,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident because I'm looking back and it looks like I've drawn the hip thing when I did
That's a waist, babe. That's a waist.
the waist when I did the back and then measured down 40 when I was meant to do that on the front, wasn't I? Okay,
So my only thing would be, is that distance from your hip to the hem the same as the hip to the hem here?
okay, so that's what I'll check.
Yeah. If that's the same, then it's irrelevant.
Oh, all right.
Mhm. Okay, now we're going to get out 2 different colours. I want you to grab out 2 different colour textures for me. 2 different colour textures. I'm going to grab a pink and a green, I think.
That's a notch.
Yeah, it's a notch. Okay, 2 different colour textures because we're going to start to trace around our pieces. Trace around our pieces. I might grab colour that goes better. Okay, we're going to start to trace around our pieces to isolate our individual pieces. And as I go, as I'm tracing around them, I'm actually going to make sure that I draw in my notches. So, pan out your centre back. As I go up my centre back, I'm going to draw in that centre back zip notch. I'm using a blue texture. I like a blue texture. We're not going to draw in our facing because that's all in one. All we're going to draw in is our panel. You'll notice my panel that I'm drawing in is going to include the flare. So flare is always added on, so it goes external to the panel, because you want to think about it in terms of getting bigger. So my centre back panel, the flare comes this direction because I want that section to get bigger and to open out. Then I come to the inside here, and the notches actually fall onto the inside. All the way up to the top.
Yes, I was wondering how this was all going to work. That makes sense. Groovy. With like it going both ways. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
what the
right.
fuck?
So this side will come this way and that way.
Yeah.
And then this one goes that way, and the notches
And
go.
then this, next one goes.
Yeah, that's right. Well done.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
No, absolutely. Any two colours are fine, guys. Whatever colours you use, just use them.
Sorry, something to do with some of my point. Where did you say the name of the fabric was?
The name of the fabric. We talked about it in class, hon. You might want to ask somebody else. They'll tell you. Absolutely. Okay, so I've gone blue with one. Now I'm going to go pink for the other one. Now I'm going to go pink. And it's always, think about it, it's always getting bigger. These panels should never get smaller. They should always get bigger. Panels should always get bigger. Every time you go past a notch, stop and draw it in. See, you'll find in your learner guide, it does say to take a little bit off of our side seam as well. They wanted us to make our bust side seam a bit snugger. We're not doing that with ours, and that's because we already know that our block is a very snug block at the bust anyway. There's not very much ease in our block. If we took any extra ease off here and made this tighter through our bust at the side seam, we would find that our dress would not fit, would not do up. So what we're doing is we're actually eliminating the dart value. We're eliminating the dart value. So in actual fact, we're imagining that that no longer exists. We've just cut that out of the equation by tracing off that half, tracing off this half, so that it no longer exists, that dart. We've just traced it out of the equation. And then we go up to this baby here. There we go. Now, I'm also, while I'm doing it in colour, you'll notice that that grain line is going through that centre back panel. So the blue is going to be my CB, or my centre back panel. My pink is going to be my side back panel, SB for side back. I'm also going to put a grain line, while I'm doing this, in the middle of that side back panel. That grain line must be at right angles to your hem, or another way of saying that is parallel with the existing grain line. So you can, I want you to draw me in another grain line as you draw your side back panel in pink. Well, mine's pink. It's parallel with the existing grain line, so they're parallel, or right angles to your hem will get you the same thing. The grain line should actually be right angles to your hem. Okay? Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with our front as we've done to our back. Trace off our pieces. Get out our texture. Yep, flare should always get bigger, so you're adding on. Adding on. Flare adds on. But at the waist, it comes in, because you're getting smaller at the waist, bigger at your hem. You will notice as I'm coming up to my gape dart, I'm actually drawing around my gape dart and not in the middle. Because what do you think we're going to do with our gape dart as we trace around it? Pivot it closed. We're going to pivot it closed around our gape dart. So I'm not drawing in the middle of my gape dart. I'm drawing up and around each side and then continuing it. Sweet. Just doing my fun. I can't draw anything. Try again, Freddie. See if I can draw that one darker. Or not. Hey, Tina, really bad drawing here. Wee. I can't see that. Get my other colour. So that's my centre front. What's my centre front on? It's on a fold. So I'm just going to write fold on the centre front so I remember. CF for centre front panel. Same thing, transfer my grain line into my side front, or SF for side front. So each panel should now have its own grain line. SF, side front. See, got that hip notch. Hip notch, brace notch, bust notch. No. Okay, I'm tracing around the outside of all of my darts, because all of these darts in this side front, I'm just going to put some hashy lines so you can see, actually disappear. Actually disappear, no longer exist. So just draw it that way. So I'm not really Notch. And draw that in. Done. Go down to there. Bust, waist, hip, hem, waist, hip. Not too bad. And if you are getting a little bit confused by that facing line, I suggest you write on what it is. So I'm going to write on my facing line. Facing line. So I can remember that that's a facing line, that curvy line. Same over here. Facing line. So I do not want you to colour in your facing line because that's a whole separate piece that gets traced off later. So don't be fooled by that one. And absolutely I want you to trace off some new grain lines. Transfer a grain line into the centre of your side front and the centre of your side back. Those grain lines in your side front and side back, two ways to achieve the same thing. Right angle to the hip line or waistline, or parallel to the existing grain line. Both of those will get you the same outcome.
So, these two colours connect.
And yeah, they do, they join. Yes, so right to there. And then the blue goes that way and the pink goes this way. Yep. Yep, they become one. Yeah, that's right, right angles to your hip line.